Okay, I think the resin is cool enough, so I'm going to go ahead and demold it, and I'm going to punch holes in if I can, in these sandals. Okay, so let's do the tennis shoe first. Okay, so here we go. You can feel the resin. It's very, very smooth. And yeah, see, that's what I was afraid of. Can you see that? I'm going to have to mix up some amazing mold putty and build up this bottom. I don't know if you can see how thin I did that. I really did mess it up. But I think I can fix it with just putting a bit of mold putty in here. And because mold putty will stick to itself. Can you see what I mean on here? I don't know if you can see there. Yeah, I messed it up. But see all the lines in it? Other than that, it turned out pretty good. So yeah, I'm happy with it, except that center piece, but that's an easy fix. And then I'm going to have to design a top to this. And I guess if you really want a thick tennis shoe, you can go all the way to the top so you can get all of the detail in, and it'll look more like a tennis shoe. So this was 3 pieces at 1 tablespoon. So what I'll do next time is I will raise this up, and I'll pour the whole ounce. Well, it'd be the whole 2 tablespoons in this piece and see what happens, because you want a thicker finish for the tennis shoe. But at least now I didn't waste that much resin, so I can fix this before I do a real tennis shoe. But you know, you have to start somewhere. But do you see the difference in the coloring? This is the white, and this is the normal. Do you see the difference in this is with 3 drops of the white, and this is without anything. Now it says if you want to paint these, you should prime them right after you take them out of the mold. And that means just painting them with some white paint or clear paint so that the paint will adhere to the resin. I guess if you wait too long, you can't get the resin to stick, the paint to stick to the resin. Okay, so see what I mean? It won't even sit flat. Yeah, I really did mess that mold up. I pressed way too hard. But you know my mistakes, so you don't make them, and try not to do what I did. Okay, so now we've got the sandals. There's 1, and there is number 2. I can tell already I poured too much. See how I did that? I got 1 really thin and 1 thicker. But you know, the thing is, I can take this now and get some sandpaper and sand them down so they're both the same size. So this one's not a waste. But you see how we've got the holes in here? So I'm going to take my hole punch, my littlest one, and I'm going to put that in there and punch it right out. See how I did that? So now it's ready to get my beading done. This resin, you can paint it, you can sand it, you can do all kinds of things with it. It's easy to work with. I'm surprised how easy it is to work with. If you can get that amazing mold putty high enough in these little holes, you wouldn't even have to do this. But I didn't. I couldn't get it pressed in deep enough. So now I have my right and my left for. You know what you could do if you have a scale and you're making these? You can probably put your mold, your heated mold, on your scale, and as you're pouring, it's actually measuring the resin in grams, and you could pour the same amount of resin in each one, and that would really help as far as getting an even amount on each side. Okay, so anyway, that's working with resin, and I'll see you guys later. Bye. Okay, it's still a little warm, but here's the update. This is what I did. I took the mold that I had. Can you see the back of that? I took like 1 gram of white and yellow, and I made little balls, mixed them together, and pushed them flat underneath the mold. I let that set for I think it was 15 minutes. Then I put it in the microwave, and then I poured the whole 2 tablespoons in this mold. If you're going to want to do this, you want to make sure that you press your mold as high as you can, because I almost ran over here on the edging here. Okay, so then take it out, and now I've got, can you see that? I've got a flat mold where I can actually use this as a shoe now, and it's even, it's flush with the table. So I didn't ruin the mold, I just fixed it. That's one nice thing about this amazing mold putty. You don't have to throw the whole thing out. You can just adjust it. And there you go. Can you see all the detail in here? Alright, so now what I can do is I can sand down some of these edges that went over the top, smooth it out, and then I can come up with a tennis shoe pattern. And there you go. That's how you make a resin mold. Yeah. Yeah, there's all kinds of things you can do. It's just a matter of having the right supplies. Okay, I'll see you next time. Hope you try it. Talk to you later. Bye. Okay, this is something I've been wanting to try, so I'm going to do it on the camera to show you exactly what I want to try and do. What I did was I took my sole that I just made, and then I put it, I traced it on a piece of paper. I just set it down and traced it on a paper. I'll do it in front of you so you see exactly what I did. I traced it. Okay, I cut it out, and then I shrunk it down to, I guess, what I wanted to do was I wanted to make it even all the way around the outside. And I highlighted with a black marker so you could see what I was trying to attempt to do. Okay, so once I had that, I put it on my shoe to see how much space I have all the way around the actual tennis shoe mold that I did. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make another mold with the amazing mold putty, and I'm going to take it and I'm going to make it about, I'm going to try and get it thicker than this so that I could stick pins in here and hold it up as I pour the resin, so I will actually have a insert inside the mold. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my putty. I've got, I think I've got 12 grams of each color, white and yellow. So I'm going to start my timer. I'm going to mix. I'm doing this fast since this is all repeat stuff, so you don't really need to see it all, but just so you can see exactly what steps I'm doing. So I'm going to mix this up really, really good. Let me move over here so you can see better. Okay, that's 32 seconds. Okay, it's pretty good. Now there's some white there. Okay, so I'm going to fold it out, and what I'm going to try and do is get that exactly as that shape of that piece of paper that I can do. So take it and roll it. I'm going to try and make it as big as I can with what I got. Let me see where you are on the video. Okay, so that's 1/4 of an inch, and I'm going to need to widen it. So let me press this and push out. No. Okay, I need a little wider. I'm going to have to move my sticks. I don't want to do that. Okay, so at this point I'm just going to shape it into that design. You know, you don't have to be specifically perfect on this, but just try and do it the best you can, because you can take this amazing mold putty and you can cut it with scissors to get it into the shape you want. So if it doesn't get exactly perfect, it's not the biggest tragedy. Okay, so here we go. So there is that shape, as close as I could get. There's some sticks here. Let's see what it looks like. Wrong one. Make sure you use the right mold. Okay, I'm going to have to trim some of these edges, so I'm just going to take my X-Acto knife when this gets a little bit harder, and I'm going to just cut it up. I think this will be fine though. Okay, so what I'm going to do is get my X-Acto knife out. I'll be right back. Okay, this part's for the adventurous. What I'm trying to do is, I told you that one part where I tried to make a piece. Well, I didn't get it thin enough, so I ended up having to cut it with scissors, because by the time I got to it, it was already cured. So what I'm trying to do is take this, put it in here, so that when I pour the resin, I'm going to have an indentation all the way around that bottom mold. So instead of getting a flat surface like this, I'm going to have a place that I could make a piece of cardboard with and use that to set right in there, and I don't have to worry about any kind of connection that I'm making on that sole. Okay, so this is where I'm at. I did a sloppy job because I'm just testing this. But I took pins and I pinned this down because I don't want it to set all the way on the bottom, because of course I want to have a sole on the bottom. So the hard thing is trying to figure out how much of a sole you're going to have underneath there. One option I thought to do was take my bad sole, put it back in, I sand down that upper part that I made a mistake on, and I tried to, but it still can't get flush in there. But I tried to set this on top of that so I knew exactly where to put my pins, so that when I pour the resin, I'll at least have a sole that is this thick. So I think I pretty much got it where I want it to be. I don't know if you can see that or not. I hope you can. So I've got this, I've got it pinned in. I think I'm going to have enough of a ridge that the resin will come up and give me a ridge. I might have to adjust this one over here, so that when I pull this out, the resin will have an indentation that I can actually put down and put my cardboard in with my fabric on it. Okay, so I'll be back after I get some resin mixed. Okay, I just got this out of the microwave. I only heated the bottom, I didn't heat the top. So let me go ahead and mix. So here's my white and my yellow. So here we go. I'm just going to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can tell in the light over here. I don't know if you can see or not, but I am actually mixing this up pretty good. Okay. I forgot to mention that you should do this with the door open or the windows open, because it smells pretty bad. So just make sure that you keep mixing it pretty good. If you don't mix it good, you can tell it's mixed good because you're going to start feeling heat on the bottom of your hand. And it's not going to start generating heat until it's totally incorporated together. Okay, so I think that's probably good enough. And I don't have a spoon anywhere, no paper anywhere. Okay, so I'm going to take this off. I'm going to set it on the table. I'm going to pour a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to take this and I'm going to put this on the top. And I'm going to center it pretty well. Hope you can see this. I'm going to get closer to the camera. Okay, so now that I've got that in there, I'm going to pour around the rest of the resin around the mold. Don't wait too long, because once that mold gets hard, it's too late. You can't do anything with it. Oh, you know what? I don't think I put enough resin in here. I can almost guarantee I didn't put enough resin. Okay, well, I'm not going to do any more than what I've done. So let's just go ahead and hold these down. It might not be good. Might not work. But this is just an attempt. Okay, so make sure, I don't know what you can see and what you can't see. Make sure that your mold is in there pretty good. I used, I had a tablespoon of each one for the last mold. This time I used 1 DSSP. I don't know what they mean by that. DSSP, that's a new one on me. Maybe a double teaspoon, I'm not sure. Okay, well, anyway, there you go. So let's make sure that you have an even space all the way around. I can tell just by looking that the resin is on the side of the inner piece of mold. I'm just going to hold this here for now because, darn, I wish I would have just added maybe just a little bit more and it probably would have been perfect. Can you see that? Okay. Alright, I'm going to, it's going to take about 10 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and come back in a few minutes. Okay, I think it's been about 10 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and demold this because it's getting pretty dark outside, so I'm going to call it a day. It's still pretty warm on the other side, but let's see what happens. Let me see this. Okay, so there's one down, and there's the other one. Let's see if I can get it out without, oh, it's still too hot. Yeah, it's still too hot. I think the having that on top caused it not to demold. But you get the idea. Okay, I'll be back. Maybe I can just wait a couple minutes and it won't get too dark in here. Hold on. Okay, I think it's cool enough. I'm going to go ahead and try and demold it. There we go. Okay, so now all I have to do is get some sandpaper, sand down these little ridges. See, I made this, I don't know if you can see that or not, probably not, but I didn't get enough resin right there. But I don't think it's going to matter once I sand it down. But then I can take my cardboard now, when I actually make a piece of cardboard, and put that in there. I'll have to get the right size paper, right size cardboard, fit it in there, give myself a little bit of leeway, and then I'll be able to fit my shoes right in there and not have to worry about any connection point. You know, once you master this and you get it all figured out, I don't think there's much shoes that you won't be able to make. You can just about make anything you want. There's going to be no problem at all making soles, making tennis shoes, just so much things you can do. Okay, anyway, that was my first attempt, so give it a try, and I hope it works out for you. Okay, talk to you later.